Welcome back. I seem to be doing a lot of brakes lately. Today we're taking another break. I've got the brakes on my family hauler 2005 Yukon XL, Suburban, Tahoes. You know, they're all the same. The rear brakes are pretty easy and look just like every other GM brake out there. A couple of bolts hold the caliper on, a couple of bolts hold the plate carrier on. You know, these are pretty simple. I already got the rear end jacked up. Let's get the wheel off. Let's dive in, get this done, because I got things I got to do. All right, let's talk for a minute. For those of you that have never been into the rear GM brakes, or even, you know, the fronts look pretty much the same as the rears in this case. Let's talk about what you've got. You got the rotor, and it's pretty well just held in place when the wheel bolts up against it. The axle flange hiding behind there, and the wheel sandwich the rotor. Plus you've got the caliper here, the brake pad carrier there, and you've got only a couple of bolts to take this thing off. You got this guy here, which is 12mm, and you got that guy and the one below it. They're both 18mm, I believe. So caliper bolts, one top, one bottom, carrier bolts top and bottom. That'll bring the caliper free. And this is a twin piston caliper, which means you have to get a little creative when you drive the pistons back in. I've used an old brake pad and a C-clamp with good luck. So let's get this guy knocked free and let's move on. There's the rotor. There's the pad holder or carrier. You can tell they're definitely smoked. All the hardware is sitting there. Calipers right there. And yes, the tin worm is a little aggressive, but that's kind of what happens when you live in an area where they salt the roads and it snows and stuff. So, I'm gonna grab a pad, gonna grab a C-clamp. We're gonna compress those pistons back in. And I'm also gonna compare the rotor I've got to the Duralast rotor that I just bought and make sure they're the same. Always take a moment to compare the old part to the new part. These are the new ones. They're coming with this you know, nifty black oxide coat, which is kind of cool, all sealed up nice, kind of a far cry from when they were actually packed in oil. Still, take a second, brake clean, clean off all the surfaces, so that way you don't run into trouble with oils in your brand new pads. These are the ones I'm using. Nothing too terribly fancy. I'll have to look at them a little bit more closely to see if they are all the same or if they are, you know, side specific. But it looks like everything is, you know, pretty well normal. They give you some more of the little metal sliding surfaces that the pads ride on. Make sure you put a little bit of grease on the parts where the pads slide. You want your brakes to work correctly, right? So make sure the parts that are supposed to slide, slide. Slide. There we go. Okay, so I got the caliper, the brake pad carrier, got the new tin pieces on. I'm going to throw some grease on them. I got the rotor ready to rock. There's my grease. And I'm going to set everything in place over there. Now keep in mind, sometimes just the slightly fiddly nature of these brake pads, sometimes the carrier has to go on as you get everything into place. Just kind of a fiddly thing that goes on with these. So let's dig in and continue moving. Alright, and just like that, we got one side done. Now I'm just going to burn through the other side. I've done one side. You guys know how to do it. This isn't that hard. Now, keep in mind, before you drive, before you pull out of the driveway, make sure you pump the brakes so that way the calipers fill with fluid correctly and contact the rotor. Because if you don't, you may hop in, more important on the fronts, but you may put it in drive or in gear, let off the clutch, pick your poison, and you may find that you don't have brakes and you're just going to start rolling away. Scary feeling. Done it before. So let's get the other side done. Let's get this thing back on all fours and let's move on. Time lapse that one. 21 minutes later, got the other side done. Enjoying this beautiful crisp fall evening. So I'm gonna get it off jack stands, get it torqued down, and take it for a test drive. Pretty sure we're gonna do just fine. Thanks for watching.